Hey, welcome, folks, to Brothers of Booze. It's as you can tell, it's been a week, but man, I don't know, everything kind of blurs. Sometimes it feels fast, sometimes it doesn't. So let's hop into it, shall we? What do you start with?
I'm already going, but you go.
No, what do you drink? You start. Tell me what you got going there.
Champagne Tortoise is a brew. Champagne Tortoise. Let's get this right. Come on now. Man, I had one of the. I actually had a nap right before the show, and I'm in that after nap haze. There we go. English style mild ale. Champagne Tortoise. I don't know. This is Carbon 4, man. I don't know this. I don't know if you can see the angry turtle there with the beer.
Yeah, I say this is what? This is stupid. That's great. So, English mild says, yeah.
Yeah. You don't see too many of those around. Ooh. Big. I've had this one before, but big flavor for a mild. Roasty, big time. I'm getting chocolate hints. I don't know. You can see through that, so it's not, thick.
Yeah.
Malty, very nice. Crisp, light. I guess we're thinking here 5%.
That's right in that English mild realm. That's perfect.
Test simple. So, it appears if our guest's ready. So after you do that, we'll bring them on.
Yeah. So mine, I'm going to start with a Gosa. Fruit Punch Gosa from K2 Brothers, which I had their Mole Stout last week. So I'm going to try their Gosa this time. And I'm a fan of Gosas, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, and I shake my head every time we bring one on the show.
Look at how that, like the color of it. It's like I got a little pink hue to it. I don't know if you can see it because of the glass, but.
Right. I can see it through the dirty glass, yes.
Yeah, sorry.
We're done apologizing for that shit on the show anyway. It's so common that you better be used to it.
So really tart. Really tart, but that nice little salty taste to it. It's this is like a super lawnmower beer. Like if it's hot out, this would be excellent. But definitely the Ghost style with all the salt flavor, and like I don't get fruit punch. It tastes like really tart fruit was put in it, but I can't identify which one. So, but really, really good. But I said the Mole Stout I wasn't a fan of last week. This is really good.
Yeah, and I just laugh because you're a sucker for a Ghost. So it really has to be, in my opinion, a bad one for you not to like it.
That's fair. Or like I've had them where they're way too salty, and that I don't care for either.
You already know that's my problem with them. That's always been my problem with them, and will continue to be my problem with them. But the all-made ones, I'm in on, man. I love the sour shit. So yeah, let's talk to our sponsor.
Guest sponsor,
Vernon,
man.
Hey, what is going on?
Ah, man, how are you?
Cheers. Hey, got my drink.
This is what's going on. Right.
What are you?
Party.
Yeah, what are you drinking?
I am drinking. Greg would like this. He actually gave this to me in DC.
Oh.
And I found it in my backpack when I was cleaning it, and I was like, "Oh my goodness! I never even had a chance to drink it." He snuck it to me at one of the parties, and I was like, "Oh my goodness! Look at this little gem!" So I figured, why not?
What do you think of that one, Vernon? Did you have it yet? Oh,
yeah, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
No, this is my first sip. I like it. It's an amber. It's an amber. I guess
big amber.
Armageddon, it's called.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. I like it.
Big amber.
I feel like I'm drinking a lot more these days, but you know how it is.
Join the club, my friend. Join the club.
Everybody is.
Exactly.
Victor says hi, guys.
Hello, Victor. What's going on, my man?
Hi, Victor. Doug, temper like.
I'm sorry, say it again.
There. See that there?
What's that?
What's that?
Jeff's laughing at
Your
your
face
face.
when he tried that.
Yeah, it was tart. I wasn't because I had a fruit punch Gosa, so like I was expecting it to be sweeter because you have fruit punch is sweet. It's not tart. And that was like,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. So very good though.
Well, Vernon, so on top of obviously, this is a live stream. So during the live stream, I have to say it because it frames the whole thing. We are in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. So on top of that, Vernon is trying to go and run and write a book or something during a worldwide pandemic. So
why not?
He's actually making use of it.
Right. So on top of the whole worldwide pandemic thing, I know I've heard from people who wrote a book and they just say it's just like, it's a joy, it's a privilege to be able to do it. It's a good thing because people want you to write, and it's a good thing that you got, you know what I mean? All that, all those are good things, but then there comes the back end of it, which is doing the damn thing. And so how's all that work? It's funny too, real quick, because Doug talks about the contest that he gets in and the anxiety sometimes that brings. And it's just a short story. And I'm not just saying it's, I'm not diminishing what he does by saying it's a short story.
Yeah.
But it's still only a couple of pages that he has to do in a short period of time. Yeah. And then it's not going out to millions of people. So, yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah. So, it's been like a 2 or 3 year journey. I mean, I've been thinking about this book. I have 3 kids as it is, and it was one of those. I write down a bunch of ideas all the time about, this would be a funny kids book. This would be, this would make a funny story, or whatever. But how would I flesh it out to 20 or 30 pages? So, about 2 years ago, my son was talking about, he was throwing out some fruit, and he was, it was like a banana. He's not a big fan of bananas anyway, but he's getting ready to throw it out because it was a little spotty. I was like, don't throw that out. Throw that in a smoothie. Do something, that's not garbage yet. And I was like, that might make a funny story about like good fruit and bad fruit. And it just kind of blossomed from there. So the book is actually called When Good Fruit Go Bad. When Fruit Goes Bad. It's about a grocer who owns a neighborhood grocery store. And he comes in and sees all the bad fruit have taken over the store. They're causing a mess. They're throwing stuff all over the place. They're kicking, good fruit all over the place. So it's like just a redemption story about how a fruit can be bad, but they can still have redeeming qualities, and kind of that idea of not wasting fruit just because it's a little spotty, and a larger message about, how we all have our own bruises and dents, but we shouldn't just get tossed in the trash. So it was a long process, 30 or 40 drafts. Teachers looked at it. My wife looked at it. The kids looked at it. I'm also in the art for it. We actually did a proof of the book, if you can see it. This is the book.
Yeah.
So you can see the little fruit. They're fighting on the cover and everything like that. No, those are some bad fruit. That's some bad fruit right there. So it's a long process. The short story is hard, but the long story, I feel like because you're trying to be perfect when you're trying to write something. Sometimes you want it to be exactly right, but you also don't want to have too much criticism because you want to keep to the initial story that you came up with. So you don't want to be like making changes because everyone else has changes. You want to try to keep it to be your voice. So I did it with my cousin, who's a great artist, and he helped me put it all together. So right now we're in the process of just trying to get it on Amazon and get it available for print on demand, because a lot of people are home and a lot of people like to read, and kids need content. So I figured now, what better time than now?
Yeah. Are you putting it also out in like an electronic format for like ebook?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we'll do a paperback version as well as a Kindle downloadable version. So that way people can just download it right to their phones, pay through Amazon, then they'll be able to get it right to their phones or to their whatever device they kind of read books on. My son reads books on devices all the time, so I know that's a huge market to just even avoid printing a book out and being able to have it in your hands instantly.
Yeah, instead of waiting 3 weeks for Amazon to ship it to your house at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Amazon Prime means nothing now. It's like you'll get it in a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, whatever.
Well, Vernon, it all started though with it all starts here, right? Can you see the screen?
Oh, whoa, my goodness! Look at you throwing up the blog. That's how it started. You're good. You're good.
When did we start, Vernon?
I started this in when I first became a stay-at-home dad about 5 years ago. So, I just wanted to write stuff from my perspective about being a stay-at-home dad, about, me having a minivan, which is something I thought I would never have. I never want to be that guy. Like, I'll never have a minivan. I'll be too cool for it. But, you know, here I am.
Yeah.
3 kids later.
Didn't age well.
Yeah. The cool goes out the window when you start having kids. That part just
says you.
Well, for me it did. How about that?
But yeah, so then I just started this blog, started writing just little things about being a father, my experience, and it just kind of grow from there. So I still update it as much as I'd like to. I do a lot more on Instagram now, just Facebook posts and that kind of thing. But this is kind of just where I was putting all my thoughts together about my experience, just from a Black man's perspective, but also from a stay-at-home father's perspective.
Mm-hmm. And a dad who doesn't like the minivan perspective. I'm with you.
Yeah. And I was doing, you can see from the website, I was also doing some stuff at my kids' school. I was doing a pirate show about Captain Vernon, colors and numbers. And I was also doing this professor thing where I put on the wig and was like teaching lessons about science. So, you know, I enjoyed doing stuff with the kids. So being a stay-at-home dad was kind of an easy transition for me when I started doing some substitute teaching in my district and that kind of thing. So it's been, it's been a journey, and this crisis is, another leg of the journey.
Mm-hmm. Doug?
Hey, man, I get the drafts thing, and like when I was writing a short story, Greg was referring to as like a short story contest I was in. So I would get a story and I'd have to write 2,500 words in a week, which isn't a lot of words, but if you're trying to compete with other people, like I'm writing one draft and then I'm fortunate my wife has English degree, so I use her as an editor and she can whittle things around and I got to rewrite it or like whatever. The drafts are just like, at some point you're just like, all right, can I not be revising this again? Like, and you were at 30 or 40. That's like crazy.
Yeah. You know what it is? Because it was rhyming. So it's almost like, certain words you think rhyme, but they don't. Mm-hmm. And some words you have to think about your audience. Like if I'm trying to talk to elementary kids, my wife was like, that word's too big for them. They're not going to understand that. So you have to kind of think about your audience and tweaking things and making sure that you're thinking about it from their perspective as far as, if a 5-year-old's reading this, will they understand this reference? Is it more a reference for the adult who's reading it to them, or is it for them? So it just kind of got tweaked along the way where I think sometimes your own voice can get in the way of kind of, it really speaking to who you wanted to speak to. So I found that, it wasn't like a complete rewrite every draft, but it was like, little changes here and there, a rhyme here, a word there, just enough to make it make sense.
Yeah. And I'm not saying like every time you do it, you're like, oh man, I got to redo the whole thing. But even just tweaks, like, because probably you tweak one thing and all of a sudden, oh no, that thing over there doesn't work now. So then I have to change that. And yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that happened a lot too, where it was like, wait a minute, now that I changed this moment, this other moment that happened earlier doesn't make any sense at all. I've got to rewrite that whole thing. And then you add, and all of a sudden it expands. But it's a fun process. So it's nice to be towards the end of it, where now it's kind of the marketing and just getting the word out about it. So that's kind of the next steps once we have a version of it that we're happy with as far as the quality and all the wording.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, though, the story is about, because I think we talked about this a little bit at that too. The story is about food waste, right? That's at the end of the day, that's kind of and I don't know about you. That's one of my biggest peeves as an at-home dad and as a person who does food, and as a person who does the cooking. I just don't like throwing away food, but it's just something that I've kind of like, it's one of these, it's kind of like the pandemic. I just tolerate it as opposed to trying to accept that it exists or whatever. You know what I mean? It's one of those things you just grind. You're just like, especially when they're really younger. I have a funny anecdote though, is that my grandmother, when I used to either live with my grandmother, I used to hang with her at her house. She had, for lack of a better term, a rat-infested house at the end. And at the end of the night, or at night, like you wouldn't see them during the day, but at night they ran. And I was a late night guy, so like I saw these mice, and it was really unsettling. But actually, it was really more. It really drove me more to like keep my house clean, and I have to deal with that. But I mean, she just lived in, she lived in West Philly, and again, unless you had a 100% Terminator all the time. I mean, that's just kind of like, with all due respect, like the New York subway in some levels, where like you can only mitigate that shit. Long story short, I left the tasty cake lemon pie like out. I come down in the morning and a mouse had eaten like a little bit into the tasty cake. So my grandmother, I'm like, oh, look at this. And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna throw it out. My grandmother's like, no, you don't throw that out. You rip the end of the tasty cake off where the mouse bit and eat that. And I'm like, no, you're gonna eat that, Grandma. So to pull it off. She's like, this tasty cake's good. I don't know what your problem is. And it was it was just funny because my grandmother came from North Carolina. The dirt roads, Tobacco Row. That's where our family is down there. And they just don't waste food like that. They just never did. Yeah. It was always like, you know what I mean? Like, and we just become a society generally, which is kind of the opposite, which is like, now I know that's the extreme. I don't think anybody should be eating anything that a damn mouse ate off of. But at the same time, that shows you kind of where I think we've like progressed maybe in a bad way as far as food goes and food waste. Was that kind of was that part of your drive to do this? Is like, food waste?
I mean, there was just like as someone who does a majority of the cooking in the house and does just a lot of the food shopping and everything, I felt like there is not enough of a conversation around the waste. We kind of talk about it, here and there, but I feel like even something that came as a result of this book was us starting to compost. We have a compost bin in the backyard. You try to throw the banana peels and everything in there, and I think it's just the idea of taking little steps towards wasting less. Sometimes you see your kids, you make a great meal and the kids will eat a sandwich and leave the crust or leave a major part of the food, and you're just like, what is happening here? I put all into this meal and you left half of it or whatever. So and I think that would make a good story. But I thought that the idea of just fruit, because so many times perfectly good fruit and vegetables thrown out that maybe are a little brown or a little dented. And it's really kind of a shame when you have people who don't have a meal that you could easily take something and cut a little bit the messed up part off and still have a perfectly good meal or food to eat. So I think that really started me thinking about just the message of the book, this idea of initially about waste, and also the fact that all these fruits and vegetables have a lot of nutrition that's being lost. So many times you just want to eat drink the juice of the apple. We don't want to eat the skin of the apple. We want to, just get, kind of not get the fiber that comes from these fruits and vegetables. So I felt like there was a good message there. And it kind of grew into this idea of we're all bruised and we all have these issues. None of us are perfect. There's no perfect apple. There's no perfect. So I kind of like the combination of those messages, and just the kids are starting to do the same thing. Like, they're kind of seeing a strawberry that's a little mushy, but they're like, oh, we can still bite it and eat around it and not just be like, oh, it's garbage, throw it out. So I'm like, if that means we have more strawberries to eat and I don't have to go get a whole nother set of strawberries because one or two is a little mushy, then that helps the environment, helps just us overall, and it just gets a better appreciation for food and just eating in general, because there's a lot of waste and it's kind of a shame.
Absolutely. So on that note, I'm jumping in on this one. While you were talking, I was Tome Half Acre. This is for the Midwest folks. I'm sure you guys know this one. Hazy Pale Ale. It's hazy, it's pale, and it's an ale.
It's all the notes.
It's all those things. No, but it's a juicy one. It's one of those you can smell on the nose the citrus and the orange, and it's nice. It's a nice unfortunately, I can't even, well, I guess I can go out on my deck. I mean, I do, but like, I just even feel restricted in doing that. So I was just going to say, it's one of those things where you sit out in the back and you have a nice summer, spring, but you still have a little bit bite to it. You still have some character to it, flavor. Fantastic.
Well, Half Acre is one of your favorites.
Very nice.
Right?
Half Acre is one of everyone's favorites in Chicago. It's one that everybody knows. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. But I can't really I haven't been to Chicago in that way, if that makes any sense. Meaning I've only been to like 3 or 4 Chicago breweries actually. So I can't say I've drank enough to say, yeah, man, they're my favorite out of 4 of them.
Yeah, but at least you get it distributed there. I see none of that here. I mean, I'm not sure where you're at, Vernon, but I'm in upstate New York. I see no Half Acre beer.
No, You shouldn't. There's not enough for us over here. So, is that really nice to me, Doug? What you're saying?
No, we're not. So, Greg, I'm going to surprise you a bit with an IPA.
Could be an IPA.
Milkshake IPA, which, generally it's a hazy or the New England IPA. Victor, that's a good one. I've had that. That's one I can get around here sometimes, Daisy Cutter.
Yeah, Daisy Cutter is awesome. And then Double Daisy Cutter is awesome. And then, yeah. They're mm-hmm. Yep. So, Vernon, food waste.
Not good.
No, but to be able to food waste
What'd
not so this food waste not good, but to be able to frame
food
it in a
waste not good.
We'll be able to frame it in a way for kids. That's a great way to start. So are we so the book is done, is what you say, and we're just finding ways to distribute it, or is there any place that has
It's pretty much in the final stages. Like I would say by the end of May, hopefully it should be available for people to get through Amazon and everything. We're just doing some tweaks. We had a couple issues with some of the files, but it's pretty much done. We'll have some spelling errors and little things that you don't catch the first time. How did I miss that? How did I, it's funny when you start reading English, you start reading words over and over and they look wrong all of a sudden. You're like, is that how you spell that word? Even though you know it's how you spell it, the more you look at it, the more wrong it looks. So I'm like, wait a minute, that's how it's spelled. You're good. So and just having people kind of look over it again just to make sure it's, it's ready for the viewing masses, and and seeing where it goes from there, just to be able to put out the product and let people know it's available, and we'll see about what happens in the fall. We might do some do something more around health and nutrition and make it kind of an interactive show where you can talk about how to make smoothies and how that kind of things, be more than just a book, and kind of make it kind of a more interactive experience that will go to schools whenever schools finally open up, whenever that is, which is a whole nother story. But it's been good. Yeah, because I think New York has officially closed them through September, and Jersey hasn't done it yet, but I feel like they're going to be next. So got nothing but time to work on. I mean, the kids are pretty good at doing the learning and everything. It's been pretty good for them so far. I don't know how you guys have handled the home remote learning stuff.
Well, you're talking to two bad guys here on this one, because I'm a homeschooler.
Oh yeah, Greg. Like, I know you've already been home with the kids.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. They just have to go through the whole. They can't go out and all that. Okay. We're mitigating that, but it's not that big. It's not a big, huge sea change. And then Doug, you explain your situation and then what you're drinking.
Yeah. So with me, I'm a blended family. So my sons from my first marriage have been with their mom. Today was the first day because my youngest son's birthday is today, and I went down to see him.
Oh, right.
Had to social distance a birthday with him, which really sucked because I couldn't hug him. But the plus side is I got to see him. But they're doing remote learning, and they get a boatload of work, which is really weird. Like, I mean, the amount of work both of them get exceeds like. Now, you were speaking about New York closing schools. We just found out today my daughter, who goes to school in New York, because my sons stay with their mom in Pennsylvania, which is in Scranton, which is an hour from here. So
a lot.
Yeah. So Pennsylvania still, they're in a private school, so it's a bit different. And then my oldest is in college, so he's taking his college courses from home. So it's like a whole bunch of different stuff. But they're older. They're pretty autonomous. They don't need a lot of pushing. So it's pretty easy from that perspective. Yeah. So, Greg, you asked what I was drinking. That's right.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the Pulp Patriot Blueberry. This is a blueberry milkshake IPA.
Oh.
On this one,
Brewdog.
Yeah. And what's funny is my brother-in-law, Adam, who lives in Columbus, which has Brewdog station right near there, hasn't had the blueberry one yet. So this comes off very hoppy on the nose, a little bit of blueberry in the nose.
Brewdog.
Yeah. So what's interesting about this is, as far as a milkshake IPA, I mean, I could taste the lactose. It's not that super creamy, rich kind of milkshake IPA. It tastes like an IPA that they just put a little bit of lactose in, which isn't necessarily bad. I mean, you get more of the hop flavor, so that's kind of cool because when I get milkshake IPAs, I'm not expecting a super hoppy beer. I'm expecting it to be heavy on the lactose and heavy on whatever flavors they throw in it. But you can see it's not even like super dense like most milkshake IPAs.
Right.
It's a little bit transparent.
I can almost see through it. Right. I don't know. Yeah.
I actually think you would like this because it's hoppy and the blueberry is not super distinct. It's there, but it's not like overpowering. And the hop flavor is actually what shines through the most. Lactose is there, but it's very light. But, normally I'm not one for hoppy beers, but I think this is quite good because the hops blends pretty well with the other notes, even though the hops is the overriding factor in the entire taste of the beer. But I'm glad this is one I got a 6-pack of because I went to a grocery store and I'd say I really do miss buying single bottles because I just, as we discussed before, when you buy the 6-packs, you're kind of at the mercy of what the 6-pack is. And if you don't like it, you're stuck with 5 other beers that you don't like. And,
and this is why I've come around to the whole, either hooking up with Garth. We had Garth, Garth from Garth's Beer Bar, or just getting direct beer from the breweries that I already know that I like it, or it's a brewery that even if I don't like it, I know it's going to be pretty good, so I can mess around with the style. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or you can get like what I found too is getting like a crowler is a little easier in that because if you get something and it's not your speed, it's just a crowler. It's not a full 6-pack, and so. Yeah, it's a little easier to digest if it's something you're not a fan of.
Absolutely. And Vernon's back. But so tonight we're gonna start a new segment, Doug.
Hey, I'm back.
We're gonna
I don't know what is going on with the Wi-Fi today.
I don't know, man. Wi-Fi, hey. Who knows, man?
Wi-Fi or a lot of Vernon, you're coming from Vernon. Tell everybody where you're at. Can we hear him?
It's choppy. So
Vernon's in some part. Where are you from, Vernon?
Yeah, Vernon, where are you hailing from?
I believe Vernon is hailing from.
He said Jersey because he was talking about the schools.
Jersey, like New York, Jersey, though. I call it New York, Jersey.
Yeah, I'm from New Jersey. I live in Bergen County. I'm a Jersey boy, born and bred.
Is that New York, Jersey, though?
Like outside of New York style?
Yeah, like New York, Jersey to me is the stadium where the Jets and the Giants play. Can you hear me, Vernon?
Right.
So
he's just having some technical difficulties, which shit, that happens.
Yeah, all the time. No, I was alluding that Vernon is it looks like he's trying to do something down there. I'll put him back. I was alluding that Vernon is New York. New York
is somewhat Swedish now.
Yeah. New York, Jersey, which is like if you ever been to the Jet and Giant Stadium, like
Meadowlands. Yeah,
you're literally like I feel that you're in Manhattan because you literally see like New York is like the backdrop. Like New York is
right over the water.
It smacks you right in the face, right? So to me, that is what I always have called New York, Jersey. Because I feel like I'm in New York there. It's just so close. And I don't know. The NFL teams think it's New York because they put their stadium there. But that's another story for another time. Let's see if Vernon is back.
Yeah.
I never understood that. Did you? Like, I mean, I understood it, but like, I still want to. It's just a real easy reason for me to poke fun at the Jets and the Giants. And I don't see Vernon anymore. So we'll give him another chance. But we're going to start a new segment tonight called The Thing That I Don't Want to Think About, but clearly I am thinking about it, and I'm going to talk about it. It's going to be a rant. It'll most likely be a beer rant. But it could be politics. Beware. It could be social issues. Beware. It could be all that. Beware. So if you don't like that stuff, you might want to tune out at the end. But you shouldn't, because I'm going to rant, and people like when I rant, and that's just the way it goes. So there we go with that. The thing that I don't want to think about. So in the future, Doug, if you ever have something that's a thing,
I have thoughts on a lot of things, so this will be fun.
Okay, good. So you'll have your own, and I'll have my first one tonight. And I haven't told you guys, like,
yeah, I have no idea what this is, so I'm gonna enjoy seeing it.
I want to see your expression, and then I want to hear both of your opinion on the thing that I don't want to think about this week. But clearly it's on my mind. So let's see if Vernon is back. Vernon is here's something. Here we go. Vernon is black. I don't know if you knew that, Doug.
What?
Well, he's just a black screen here. I didn't mean that.
Yeah, I know.
I know what you're saying. Vernon.
Oh, so my goodness.
Vernon's in New York, Jersey, right? And I would suspect that your ISP or your internet connection is probably clogged by everybody trying to get on it. And look, as I say that, we get it right. You still there?
I'm back.
I'm back. Hey man, don't sweat it. It's okay. Shit happens.
Yeah, we're just two guys here drinking anyway.
Hey,
sitting here drinking.
Oh my goodness. I'm probably not the worst guest you've had, but I'm probably right up there, right?
I'm the worst guest we've had.
No, here's the thing. You're thinking about the worst guest. No, we had a couple people whose internet connection was spotty at best, and it happened.
My goodness.
Right. If a bad guest is that, your internet spotty, yeah, maybe you're one of our worst, but who cares?
But we still want to keep having you on, man. This is not like, hey man, get rid of Vernon. Fuck that guy. No, it's
right. I just got this. It's nice. So Vernon,
File's killing me.
Man,
you're never gonna have me on again.
Oh, we will. Maybe you could do something like Greg, like meet my friends, and have him like on during the day when probably maybe the traffic's a bit less.
Yeah, it is 8:30 at night on a
Friday.
Doug and I live in places where I'm sure the internet's clogged, but it's not probably as clogged as it is down there in New York, Jersey. New York, Jersey. I love that.
New York, Jersey.
Yes, I'm keeping that. I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway. I don't know. Let's give Vernon a little chance to shake it out.
Yeah.
Shake it off.
Let's do the thing you don't want to think about.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I think it's a little. I want to wait a little bit later.
Okay, that's no problem. We'll do that later then. All right.
Victor has an opinion.
Yeah. Hey, that's a scapegoat as any.
Man, if y'all don't know, Victor's going to be on with us on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and apparently it's going to be fireworks. So I'm not sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what I'm getting into with this one. So
it's going to be a lot of video game chatter, and that's okay. You play video games, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll make sure I day drink before this. So then, if it goes off the rails, I can blame you. Look at that. It's Doug's fault.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's Doug's.
It's Doug's fault. What did Doug say at post production the other day? That toddler has no friends. Yeah.
That toddler has no friends. Oh man. This is like we're just all kind of like, this friggin' week.
Right. Jeff says about New York.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Okay. So it applies to like all the other different states too. Like they're so close that they might as well just
Rhode Island too with the Boston connection.
Yeah.
Is that a thing, Jeff?
And some random.
That's my perception of it.
Bye, Vernon. He's trying to get back on.
Yeah,
So,
nope, we'll get to him. So,
yeah. Oh, well, let's see. This looks like a better feed.
he's just flexing his handsome face.
Right. All right, that's fine. We'll do this, and then we'll just put his website on the bottom. And
Yeah.
All right, it's a little bit better.
Yeah, that's a little better.
Oh my goodness!
There we go.
Hey man, just
This is
drink.
unintentionally funny.
Yes, and this is why I don't care about
Oh
live.
my goodness!
Because live is live, and people get it.
Yeah.
Jeff's saying people in Boston they do
I
not.
thought Zoom had issues with something.
Hey Jeff, I'm pretty sure the Rhode Island people claim
Okay.
Boston, so if you don't get to just swipe them off the map. Fuck those Rhode Islander guys.
Poor Rhode Island, man. Jeez.
Well, Boston folks aren't exactly known for their niceties, so.
Well, Vernon, it looks like we got you a little bit here now. So
Maybe it's a little more steady. This is good.
Jeff says, "LOL, yeah, they do."
I say I have a former roommate of mine was from Warwick, Rhode Island, and he just basically would tell people he was from Boston, even though he wasn't. So,
No, that does not count. No, that does not count. That's bullshit. I mean, maybe he was from born there and then he moved, but no, Warwick, Rhode Island is not Boston. Come on now, stop with all that. So, Vernon, if you
think it's better.
Can hear us and you can, looks good, man. Actually, now it's time for a sponsor.
So you get to tell us sponsor stuff, if you can.
Say it again.
Now it's time for our sponsor. So you get to talk about whatever you want.
Yep.
Your book, your website,
Whatever you like.
Sometimes people have used it to talk about their love for me. I mean, do whatever you want.
Yeah. They don't ever talk about their love of me. So
Okay. Oh,
We're gonna get there. We'll get there one day, Doc. We'll
talk about whatever I want to talk about.
yep.
right now.
Do it. Floor is yours.
Well, what to talk about? What is the deal? I was going to do a whole Seinfeld thing. Sorry. I guess one thing that I want to talk about is kind of this whole, the remote learning, kind of what's going on in general with everyone. It's been, you always hear the phrase, we're all in this together. And I saw something the other day that was kind of, we're all in the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat, which I thought was an interesting thing, way to kind of look at this situation. And, this is a tough time for everybody. It's very simply. And we're going to struggle with this, just like we struggle with other incidents that have happened. This is very different from things that we probably dealt with in our lifetime. But at the same time, we got to be smart about what we're doing. I think there's a kind of a lot of different ways to go about making sure that we open up safely and do things around that. But I think that something that that me and my family have learned during this time is that if you do have a family, sometimes your family is enough. And this is a good time to really use this time to learn more about your kids, to get closer to your family, maybe even reach out to those people that you normally reach out to during this time, that you wouldn't normally reach out to. You say, oh, I'll talk to them later. Now it's a good time to reach out to those people that you don't talk to all the time, just to see how they're doing, see what they're up to. Because we really, so many times we get kind of caught up in our little circle of people that we talk to on a regular basis on Facebook. And I'm finding now that I'm reconnecting with friends of mine from high school that I didn't know. One person was sick in the hospital. He was like 2 or 3 days from being on a respirator. And then I learned that he also was a piano player and he wrote a couple songs about this crisis and kind of what's going on. I'm talking to aunts and uncles and cousins that I, don't normally kind of reach out to just to see how they're doing and how they're dealing with it in their part of the country. So I know sometimes we feel like we're stuck at home, but I know there's something that Spike was saying over on the Father of Multiple site is that, we're safe at home, and to take advantage of this time that we have because, we always want more time with our kids. and now we're getting it. So
Mhm.
really, I think it's a good time to kind of look at your life. You know, my wife and I are kind of looking at all the things we had planned. We have a birthday party. We had soccer. We had t-ball. We had all these things that are now not going to happen. And you kind of, you know, it couldn't be a reset in a way, especially if you have a big family, to see what it is that you need to be doing, what you should be doing. Maybe just doing one sport and being home with your family in the evenings to do game night is more important. Maybe there are other things that you could be doing kind of in your life that have more meaning to you, and it's not just about staying busy. I was telling Greg, I think I was thinking both of you that, you know, I had this calendar that had the entire month of March set up: t-ball, soccer, swim practice, all these things, and I could have just lit a match to it because it was all not going to happen. So you kind of want to look back and say, okay, now that April, you know, somehow April went by very fast. March seemed like the longest March ever, and April went by fairly fairly quickly. So you know, just look at May and say, okay, what do I have planned in May? Probably nothing. So, you know, when this won't ever blow over. I think it's going to be with us for a while. We just have to be smart about how we kind of reopen and that kind of thing. But just kind of look at all the things that you usually have on your schedule and say, do I need to be that busy? Is there other stuff I could be doing that would mean more? Does it mean more time with the family? Does it mean more time just in the backyard? Does it mean more time with books? Whatever it would be, I think this is a good time to look at that because we have all this time now. We're learning about our kids, we're learning about our spouses, we're learning about each other. So kind of figure out, do we want to go back to our normal life that we went back to before? Because it's going to be kind of hard, regardless of how things open up. Nothing's going to be the same after this. The kids are going to be different because of school, and there's just going to be a lot of changes that we all have to get used to. So, you know, it's a good time to really be introspective about what your life is, what you're doing, and where you want to go from there, and what you want your family to be. So we're spending a lot of time just enjoying each other's company. When you're a family of 5, you know, you got company. So you kind of find like, okay, we're good with ourselves and just having our dinner to the table and not having a big party. We had a small party for my son. He just turned 7 and it was great. You probably saw some of the pictures. He got a couple of nice gifts. He had a cake, some balloons, some Legos, and he was good to go. No bouncy house, no thing. No, we were going to do this whole thing. And then it ended up raining on his birthday anyway. So we would have lost the money anyway. So it was like, well, that worked out. But, you know, just one of those things where you really have a chance to think about what your family situation is. And do you want to keep it this way, or do you want to go back to just the hustle and bustle you had before? Because it can be exhausting. Kids in life is exhausting. So it's important to think about that, because we can go back to our regular lives that it was before, or we can, you know, maybe drop a couple of things that aren't essential. We don't have to keep up with everyone else and do a million different things. It's not always, the hustle and bustle isn't always the most important thing.
Preach. And thanks for that. That's a great message. And I know Doug and I both approve, because we're both sitting here like nodding. Mm-hmm.
I was like nodding my head the whole time.
Right. And then
Thank you.
Yeah, and then what you see on the bottom is what I've been saying. Doug's heard me say it a gazillion times, probably not at this point. Less is more, and if we you know, it's I love it. You didn't say this, but like paraphrasing to me, and I also heard that like you should enjoy the time, the little time that we have, or the time that we have, because it's valuable, and we just, you know, got to take less is more. And again, this is a time to really step back and really be grateful. You know, we run around. What is that one meme on Thanksgiving? We run around on Thanksgiving saying we're thankful, and then we run over people for shoes the next day. Like,
right. There's a disconnect.
Right. This makes us sit down and shut up for a little bit, and it's not just a light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just a day or even a weekend. Because, you know, Thanksgiving has become a weekend where you see all your family, and some people have Thanksgiving on Saturday and all that. But like,
yeah,
it's more of a time to be like, we need to sell. So,
yeah.
Time to get on beers, or what do you got, Doug?
Well, to that effect, before we start going to our third beer, because I got another one. The thing that this has taught me a bit is that, like, I am a busybody. I am a fidget. I need to be doing something. If I'm not doing something, I feel super guilty. Like, why am I sitting here? I shouldn't be watching this TV show. I should be doing something. I got 8,000 things I can do. Why am I not doing those? And interestingly, even though I have more time to do those things, I've found that if I am not just like, I got to be go, it's weird. Like I would have thought this would have made me more productive, for lack of a better term, and it's actually made me realize that I don't have to be productive all the time, and that leads to what you were saying, Vernon, just like that means I can be a little more present. I can be, listen to what my kids are saying, or and being a better listener for my wife. Like there's benefits out of that I kind of never thought of, because my idea of time at home was, all right, I got 5 projects. What am I doing? And all right, great. And instead of just being like, all right, I'm home. Let's have dinner. Let's bullshit. Let's, whatever. And it's taking your time and enjoying things is more important than I kind of gave it credit for. Oh, and then now Greg's gone. Oh no.
But where do we get this?
he didn't like what you had to say. He's like, I'm done.
Right.
I agree with none of that.
But where do we get this idea? Because again, we've all been through pandemics, because apparently we're all experts at a pandemic. Where do we get this idea that like we have to get every single thing done on the honey-do list when there's a worldwide pandemic? Like, I can't understand that. I'm feeling it. Everybody's all like, oh, I put up a new fence. Like, great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong, but at the same time, maybe part of it is just sitting down and crying in your hands in the afternoon. There's nothing wrong with that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with just having, a tender moment with your loved one about the problems that you're having. There's nothing wrong with a damn 4-hour nap when you need one in the afternoon. There's nothing wrong with you sitting on your ass in your pajamas and drinking coffee to noon. I want to tell everybody there's nothing wrong with any of that. And if you don't get anything done today, whoop these shit. Like, I had to talk to myself about this isn't a time to get shit done. This is a time to stay safe and alive. There's 2 different things. And that is not the thing I didn't want to think about. But I'm going to get to that soon. Go, Vernon.
So are you drinking?
I think so. So I feel like you said, what Doug was saying, that the idea that you feel guilty because the laundry's not done, or you feel guilty because you sat and I watched, back-to-back episodes of Succession on HBO, where I'm just like, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have been doing this, but at the same time, you need that break, and you earned it. It isn't like we're sitting around and we're, doing what we want all the time. The house is falling into disarray. Sometimes some things need to get pushed off, and you need to give yourself that break. It's okay. And it's okay also to, sometimes just, like you said, that 4-hour nap, man. I don't nap, but man, when I do, it's a thing of beauty. You don't know how much you need it till you have it. You're like, oh my goodness, I feel refreshed. It's 2:00 in the afternoon. I took a 2-hour nap. Like, you don't get that very often. So enjoy those moments, because you won't get them again.
Well, I'm going to say this to the nap thing. I am not one who naps. And it has nothing to do with me it's part of the productivity thing. I grew up thinking if you're not doing something, you're wasting time. Yeah. And so, like, the idea of taking a nap, the only time I take naps is if I'm fucking sick. If I'm sick, then I take naps. But otherwise, I'm just doing shit. But I find myself just, maybe it's also partially because of my age, because I'm approaching 50, and just being like, hey, maybe that's really not a bad idea, just to lay your head down for a while. The problem is, for me, in my earlier days, if I took a nap, I can't sleep 30 minutes and wake up and feel cool. I felt like, fuck, I am super tired now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get up. I'm not going to be able to do anything. And
drowsy and late.
Yeah, but being like okay with the idea, like I took a nap and now I'm a little drowsy and shit. Like, well, great. Okay, that's fine. Stuff will get done, just not at a super pace.
Right.
I woke up less than an hour before this show, just so you know.
Wow. That means if I know you, Greg, that means you'll be up till like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Maybe, but my problem is that, like, probably, but as I get older, I'm starting to be that guy that like nods off on the sofa. I'm that guy.
Oh, you're that guy.
Yeah,
Oh.
already. I'm like, so like if I feel myself even being a little bit tired, I know if I just lay down and just sometimes you just lay down in the bed and not intend to nap. This is one of the times where I just lay down and like, oh man, I'm gonna get on the show later, so I'm just gonna lay down for a little bit. And I woke up and it was like 7:06. I'm like, oh, okay, this will be interesting because I'm like Doug. Usually I need some time to like recoup and quick. I'm not the same person after a nap. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm doing pretty good now.
Everybody does different.
So Jeff agrees with me. He says, preach. Some of us are just trying to tread water and not build new things and new occupations, because that's what I'm seeing on all my timelines, whether it be Twitter, Facebook. I'm just seeing people getting stuff done, and that's great. But I just don't want people to be stressed getting shit done. Like, do it on your pace, but let's not have this. I mean, our friend Tiffany Martin and her husband Doug built a whole damn deck. Like, I'm gonna be sorry. They built
good for you, and like, yeah. Now, if you're doing that and that's what fucking helps you get through it, awesome.
But it's a balance.
My wife and I told
you.
My wife and I are expanding our garden. I'm adding 24 feet to the garden.
Right.
Well, I have to dig all that out, and then I have to do all. But here's the thing: is like ordinarily I would be like, all right, I'm doing this, and now I'm committed. I'm gonna be doing it in 3 days. I'll have that done, because I just can't abide it being not done. But now I'm like, it'll get done when it gets done.
Gardening's a different
whatever. Right.
Gardening's a different thing.
It'll get done maybe eventually.
Yeah. Gardening is and can be therapeutic. So that's a different kind of, in my opinion. But you know what I mean? Like you're getting out in the dirt and you're out in the, you know what I mean? And I've been to Doug's backyard, and it's a pretty nice backyard as far as like seclusion. Not many people are like peeking in there. So it's a good area to be, especially now, during this pandemic, you can at least be out of the house.
Yep.
So what you got, Doug? You got some peanut butter love over there?
This is a peanut butter imperial stout. Peanut butter Jenkins. And of course, I'm thinking Leroy Jenkins. As soon as I read that,
Leroy Jenkins.
Exactly.
A classic.
I was like, God damn it! Now that's going to be in my head for the rest of the day.
Yes, it is, and mine.
Ooh, baby, is that a peanut buttery smell right out of the can? Awesome.
That looks
so,
nice.
Vernon, I don't know if you saw, because this is when you're running out. We're gonna start a new thing called well, Doug's gonna start a new thing called peanut butter stout. But
peanut butter stout. All right, I'm in.
We're starting a new segment tonight when you're here.
To think about.
Yeah.
Ooh, the thing I don't want. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. When you guys hear what mine is, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But what's up, Doug?
All right, so it's an imperial stout, so it's heavy. It's 11.5%.
So it's sweet.
11.7. Excuse me. Which Vernon, I drink super high gravity stuff all the time. It's my favorite styles are generally high ABV, but I wanted to do a variant.
Okay.
Style. But like peanut butter it's tricky because peanut butter is a pretty heavy flavor and it can overtake things. It's on the nose, and it's definitely in the flavor, but that imperial stout that part is what shines through. I really appreciate that it's not just overwhelmed by the peanut butter. It's really delicious.
Cheers. That looks thing I don't think about. It's a scary question.
It almost has like a graham cracker like aftertaste, if that makes sense. It shouldn't, but it does. Like, it's really good. Not what I was expecting on the end.
Oh, awesome! So it's not over sweet? Is it boozy?
It's definitely boozy, but not like bourbon barrel aged boozy. You know what I mean? It's a nice balance of that sweet with the boozy, and yeah, that's one that I'm glad I have 3 more of those.
I have this one, the Middleton Project from Middleton, New York. It's a double IPA.
All right.
It doesn't say anything more than that. It looks the part. It drinks the part. Big, juicy, fruity. A little bit of boozy.
Cloudiness to it.
So here's the thing that actually Vernon, are you okay? Vernon, you're still in yours, so you're not introducing a new beer. Okay, so
Yeah.
here's the thing that I don't want to talk about. Masks in breweries. What the fuck is going to happen?
Ooh.
So I'm going to have to put a mask on my face, order my flight, take my mask off, do my flight. My whole experience. Listen, I'm not against masks. We need that shit. We needed to do what we need to do. We need to stop the spread. All that.
Yeah.
I'm just, again, as something. This is something that, like, I'm looking at things that happened pre-pandemic, and then how's this going to tie over post-pandemic? And this is the thing that I don't want to think about is us wearing masks in breweries. Thoughts?
Vernon, I'll defer to you first.
Oh my goodness! All right,
I'm effed in the head on this one, guy.
Huh?
I'm effed in the head on this one. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. You know what? The one thing I'm not trying to think about is so many things. Where do you pick? Can we talk about elections? I'm sorry.
Well, it's whatever. As I said, it can be whatever it is. You just have to put it out there and tell us why you don't want to think about it, and then just roll.
I think the one thing that's really weighing on me is really this whole election season.
Say it.
Is the election season is the vote is that we have to right now we're gonna have two choices come November. We're gonna have Trump and we're probably gonna have Biden. That's what it's like. What's like it's gonna be. And I don't love Biden. I don't need to love the candidate, but I feel like I really need to be like, oh man, I'm gonna vote for him. But I really it just scares me that I feel like we don't have a system where we have a better candidate for both parties. And we're in a situation where we're like, okay, I'm going to vote for him, but I don't think he's that great a candidate. I think he needs to knock the VP pick out of the park. Because right now, I think Trump is going to win again. I don't think Biden has the juice to really roll over him, and it scares me that we can get another 4 years of him. It really scares me because I just look at kind of what's going on now and the craziness and just everything. You've seen it all. I don't have to go over all, but the idea that
you don't have enough time. Period. Next.
You don't have enough time. Right?
You don't, and you won't remember everything. You won't. There's no way to remember every single thing that pisses you off about. Don't. Yeah, go.
And it really scares me just to think about just having to deal with that and what that's going to look like, because it's already starting. The media coverage around it, around each of their issues and everything. I just don't look forward to even that. I almost want to skip over all the media coverage of both of them and just go to the vote and go vote and be done with it, because there's going to be so many things that come out of the woodwork that you haven't heard that they've been holding on to, and it's just going to be such a back and forth between that and the virus. I'm just like, can we just skip to 2021 and be done with it? Because I'm done.
The thing that I don't want to think
exhausting.
About, and that's the thing that Vernon does not want to think about, but we all know he is. Doug?
So I'm going to go.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I feel it. You don't have to be sorry about the thing that you don't want to think about. It's the thing that you don't want to think about. Right.
And that's
that was very therapeutic. I appreciate it.
I think it's going to be.
All right. So the thing I don't want to think about. I'm an avid book reader, and the thing I don't want to think about is all the dumb pandemic novels we're going to have thrown at us after this, because it's going to be a lot of nonsense that we've listen. We just lived through it. We don't fucking need more of that. I don't want to revisit it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to think about that sort of stuff, because I like dystopian fiction a lot. I like, all that sort of science fiction. The world is ending. I like all that. I don't want anything hearing about like here's a pandemic that wiped out the human. Yeah, great. I don't want to read that. Just don't do it.
What about pandemic video games? They're coming too. But we already have a couple of those.
We have lots of those.
Fallout, right?
Yeah, we have plenty of those.
Fallout, right? I mean,
there's like The Last of Us. There's, there's a lot of them. We don't have to worry about that. They have that covered. Fallout, we're there.
Okay.
I just don't want to see one about
pandemics are always the subject of video games. That's all they ever talk about.
Yeah.
Well, so as far as
Fallout, Last of Us,
I can't relate to, or not that I can't relate. I understand where Doug's coming from. I'm not a big book guy like he is, but I can relate to that. And Vernon, I'm pretty sure that Doug and I agree with pretty much everything that came out of your mouth. So then I just want you guys.
Different caveats to that, but that's all.
Right. I actually don't agree with you specifically that Trump's going to win, but we can take that aside. But I agree with you. I agree with you with the concern about how where we're going with this election, and that it could just be another shit show like 16 was. So that's where, and that's what I heard out of you. So I'm feeling that, totally feeling that.
Okay.
But I wanted to know if you guys, before we wrap up here and talk about other things maybe, but I just wanted to see what you guys thought about mine, which was do you have any, like, where does this go as far as masks and breweries, where again these masks are going to affect us. I heard real quick. I heard the senior medical advisor for Governor DeWine in Ohio. She's a female. I told Doug I watch a lot of these governor pressures during the day. It's part of how I get a little bit of a hope, because a lot of governors are kicking ass and doing really good and showing empathy and really being true to their word about keeping people safe. She talks about how masks are going to be a cultural change for us. She was talking about this a month ago. Like, she was ahead of this, because it is a cultural change, and people have a problem with keeping masks on and all that. And it's just like, we're used to masks being on robbers, like that whole, we're used to people trying to cover up yourself to do bad stuff. And now you got to cover up yourself to help save people and to help save yourself and your family and protect everybody. But it's a culture change for us, and they say that people over in the Asian Pacific Islander area, they're used to the mask, and they really don't care. And I feel a little bit as Americans, we're struggling a little bit with it. So, like, going to a community, a place where you're used to talking to people and engaging with people, and you're going to have masks, it's just going to be interesting.
All right. So can I posit something for that for someone who is hard of hearing? And yes, Aaron, I do know it's me, so fuck off.
Look at this show. We tell our few viewers, we're telling them to fuck off. This is
Aaron. I love that guy. I do, and we tell each other fuck off all the time. So it's kind of I say it in love.
I already know, but I don't know if everybody else.
Love, all love.
I shit on his Patriots and his Celtics and all that stuff, and he shits on everything I like, so it's fine. It literally is that sort of like, it's almost like a brotherly thing, and that like, yeah, you're an asshole and I'm an asshole, so we're just gonna be assholes to each other, kind of thing.
Oh, that's almost warming. It almost warms my heart a little bit, Doug.
Warms your cockles?
I didn't say
right? Almost.
I didn't say all that. Anyway, what were you going to say, Doug, about being a person who is hard of hearing? And
yeah, so the mask thing is hard because I read lips. I read lips so I don't miss stuff. And with masks, I cannot do that.
Wow.
So I'll give you, for instance, today I had to go to the grocery store. I had my mask on. I'm sitting and I'm standing 6 feet from the guy. They have the lines. Everything's laid out exactly right. And that guy is wearing a mask, and he is a low-talking person, meaning like he speaks very softly. So I have to step towards it and say, I'm sorry, and he'll speak up, but he doesn't speak up. I'll cover my face then, just for you. So anyway,
it's interesting that you said. Oh
no, what I was just saying is it's hard for me to adjust being with the face mask, but it's a necessary thing that I will have to adjust for. I'm okay with that.
What's up, Vernon?
It's funny what you said about the mask. Is that I read in the paper today that I think that someone was coming up with a design for a mask where they had the covering, but the front was like a transparent part because of that. Because they had people who needed to read lips and that kind of thing. They were trying to design a mask for that. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it's going to be an issue. We're going to be wearing masks for a long time. That's going to be something that's going to come up because I do the same thing. I mean, I might not do it as much as you, but sometimes especially since I wear glasses, I think I'm just used to trying to see what people are saying. If I'm like squinting or something, try to read their lips so I know what they're saying. But there's going to be a time when you're going to have to read the lips more, and if you can't do that, you get a lot of movement with this, and you get an understanding of all kinds of stuff when you read their look at what their mouths are doing. When you don't have that, and you just have a set of eyes you're looking at, it's a little tough to have a conversation. Yeah. You're kind of, is the person smiling at my joke, or are they just sticking their tongue out at me? You don't know what they're doing anymore with the mask on. So,
or like.
So we'll see. But I think they're coming out with that kind of mask. Yeah, see, there you go. That I saw.
I can stick that right there. Oh man, have we done all our beers? We've opened them all up.
I've opened all mine. Vernon, do you have any more, or are you just sticking with the one, which is totally fine?
I have one. Yeah, I have one more. I'm a light drinker, so I'm trying to keep.
Man, you drink at your own pace. It's fine.
I can't keep up with you guys, but I got
light drinker. Is that what I heard?
The Beach Season Ale. It's like a summery kind of seasonal session ale with orange zest.
Ooh.
So a little something. I'll give it a taste.
Yeah.
That sounds like one of those shower beers.
Yeah, that would be something I would do in the shower. Well, drinking
among others.
That's a shower beer.
Oh, I love shower beers. Greg can't get into it, but I can.
Just so you know, most people just take showers in showers. Just so you know, Doug. I know you do numerous other things, but
yeah. I'm a multitasker, so there.
We'll leave it there.
There you go. See.
So, how is that one, Vernon?
It wasn't awkward at all. No, it wasn't.
It's nice. It's light. It has it's like a summery kind of light beer. It's kind of nice. Got a little cloudiness. It has like a blue moon kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Fruity.
So very refreshing. Very refreshing.
Yeah. It definitely looks a little bit darker than a blue moon, but like I get your the citrusy element. I think would be part of that. Yeah.
I need to have a blue moon. I haven't had one in a long ass time. Not need to, but
you're too good for blue moon, though, right? Is that what you would say?
No.
We're all about
like. I just don't want to buy it because it's big beer. That's it. It's not about too good or not. That's where I started. I started with Blue Moon. But I would like to go back after having all this craft beer to actually see what it tastes like. Because again, I just remember it being something very refreshing and nice compared to the crappy, other, regular lager dog shit beers that we're used to. Blue Moon was like a step up. It was like, damn, okay, this is, you could actually have a little bit of a refreshing little fruity drink going on. And that's it. So then Vernon.
God damn you.
I do what I can, Aaron. Just for you, Aaron.
Aaron, why don't you look? Somebody send him the link and we can get him on the show. He's talking trash. He needs to come on and back it up.
We've had him on the show.
I already know he can come on now. Though he can come on right now. I can send him the link right now. So
right now.
Get your ass on the show, Aaron.
Listen, Aaron's not afraid, so it's not even about whether he's afraid or not.
That's part of the reason.
No, he won't. Yeah.
He's not afraid to say what the hell's on his brain.
He'll come in here and blow the place up. So anyway, Vernon, anything else you want to talk about yourself? Anything we missed? Books coming out soon. We got cool minivan. So you're still.
I'm still gonna write. I might have to post in a couple of weeks. I submitted something to the Washington Post. Some of your people that know. I mean, I submitted something to them 2 years ago after I went to the Dad Summit that was accepted about miscarriages from a father's perspective. and that got a lot of traction. It was picked up in a couple local newspapers, so that was pretty awesome. And then I reached out to them again recently, and they had something lined up, but it was just a week before the schools closed down and everything. So they said, we're kind of pushing anything that's not related to the virus off for a little bit. So there might be something coming like in the summer from them again. So and I'm just gonna keep writing, staying busy with the kids. The weekends here, which normally would be a break from the kids, but
Right.
it's not because I'm with them all the time.
Right.
So,
I have a flat circle.
it's good.
Right.
Everything's good.
Right. Well, cheers to that.
Cheers. Yes. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And I'll keep you guys in the loop, everybody, about the book once it's ready, and
Please
link
do.
on Amazon, and visit me on Coolman and email me, coolminivandad@gmail, and I'm on Twitter, coolminivandad1, and I'm on Instagram, coolminivandad. It's funny enough, no one had that handle. Who knew?
So Vernon, real quick though, before we let you go, so you so again, what I heard, I didn't know this, so this is all coming out now. You and your wife had a miscarriage?
What?
You and your wife had a miscarriage?
Yeah. Oh, yes. So, about how many years ago? 6 or 7 years. My wife and I were 19 weeks pregnant with twins. So she was pregnant. And she miscarried at that point. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Duh.
Yeah.
But it gave me a chance to really think about what it meant to be a father, and all the hopes and dreams that I had around these twin boys, and just all the buildup that you have when you're about to have a kid, and then it just in a snap, within a couple of hours, it was gone. And I felt like when I went to the Dad Summit, the first one that I went to, when I went to a on the Washington Post and submitting, and an idea around an article on miscarriages from a father's perspective just seemed that it just really just resonated with me. I was like, no one ever talks about it from a father's perspective. It's always the woman, which is important. But I'm like, dads suffer too. Dads go through crisis. They have a lot of fathers have been through it and don't talk about it. So I felt like there was an opportunity to talk about it. So I wrote an article on the plane on the way back from the summit. That's how invested I was in doing this article.
Wow.
I submitted it to her. Within a week, she got back to me and said, we love it. We'll run it. And then it ran a few months after I submitted it. And I heard from fathers all over the place, from about 6 or 7 fathers who were like, thank you for writing it. I had the same issue. And, thank you for, opening up about it.
2 things. Last night we had Joe Gratzik on, and he was talking about how he went through this too. And another, my next question is, does this article live on Cool Minivan Dad, meaning people can go see it there, or where can we see that piece?
I have it on my blog, but there's also if you I'd have to find a link and get it to you so you can share it with people. But if you look up Vernon Gibbs Washington Post, I think if you Google it, my name will come up. It's about miscarriages from a father's perspective. Okay,
but it's also on this link that I'm showing here, which is Cool Minivan Dad, right? You got it.
Yes, yeah. If you go to my website, I reposted it there.
Cool. All right.
So it's there as well. Yep.
Yeah, man. Obviously, Doug and I talked to Joe about it last night. We're both very. I'm pretty sure Doug's never gone through this. I know I haven't, but this is something that we are happy to talk about and happy to push out there for people to because I think one of the things I don't want to jump into stereotypes, but generally speaking though, when bad things happen to men, we're more likely to compartmentalize it and to say it didn't happen and all that, whereas women are more likely to at least seek out close friends and talk. I don't even know if men even seek out close friends in this area. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not all women do this and not all men do that, but generally speaking, though, in our society in America, men need to open up more. And I think what I heard out of your story is that like you were a little bit motivated and compelled after you got around a whole bunch of dads. And you just got, motivated like we all do when we go to that too. There's a type of all kind of level of motivation, whether it be, I told the story today. If not for Doug French, I'm not sure we would all be here. And the reason is because he's the one who sparked me to do Daddy Porter. In fact, he wanted me to do Madison, Dad Madison. It was taken already. So then I went to Daddy Porter. Yeah, I went to Daddy Porter, and I was going to talk about beer and parenting, but that shit never worked out. So I just started talking about beer, and the rest is history. But
Yeah.
beer and parenting is a hard thing to kind of navigate. Not hard, but it's not hard. But it's just I just felt it easier just to talk about beer and bitch about parenting elsewhere. But anyway, Vernon, it's been awesome and amazing having you on, and we'll need to have you on soon again to make sure that we get the word out about bad vegetables and bad fruit. It's bad fruit, right?
Yes. When good fruit, right here, I'll show you a picture one more time. Here it is.
Yes. Put it up close.
Show it to you.
When good fruit goes bad, baby.
Yeah. Bad fruit, right?
Yeah, we definitely when that. Yeah, you have to let us know when that's going live, and then that way we can have you on for like Meet My Friends and stuff like that, so that we can help promote that and push it out. Because here's the thing: arts,
absolutely, that'd be great.
Writing and whatever, all the arts need to be promoted in the middle of all of this. Because if you're anything you watch on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime, all that's art. Somebody wrote it, somebody produced it, they made it, somebody did whatever they did to it. Whatever the music, it's all art. And that's the thing is art's super important now. And so, and that's the thing, you writing it, having people draw it, whatever it is, that's all art. So we need to promote all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Right. Promote the arts.
Thanks, Vernon.
And schools, they got to promote the arts.
For sure.
Thanks, Vernon. At least some part of our viewer watching liked you today. That's good.
Ooh. Looking ooh.
Vernon, thank you.
Thanks, Vernon, man.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for jazzing it up here. Yeah, virtual book tour. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Virtual book tour. All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Right. And actually, again, this is why I keep Doug around. He has great ideas, believe it or not. Aaron. And
Aaron.
No, but
no names.
Maybe we need to have you back on and Meet My Friends, and that's how we do it.
We could do a Zoom thing too, Greg, where we have a Zoom meeting and just like talk all about that kind of stuff and have other folks join in.
Yeah, actually, why don't we have a Meet My Friends and then a Zoom meeting? Look at this. This is all coming together. All right, Vernon, we're going to work
on together.
Vernon, we got this.
All right,
we do more production during the show, Doug, than we do outside of the show. But anyway.
I don't know if that's a great thing, Greg.
Well, Victor likes it, so he likes it.
Hey, if Victor likes it, I'm all happy.
He likes it despite Doug, so that's great.
That's true.
So does Aaron too. He won't ever say it, but we'll put words in his mouth, and that's all good. like Aaron Govea needs words put in his mouth, but that's another. Anyway. Vernon, thank you. See you soon, buddy.
See you, Vernon.
All right, man. So let's go over our beers here. Another great guest, another fun time. Again, time flies. It's already 9:20. Again, Doug, the problem is like if we don't stop this shit, it'll go for like 4 hours.
I mean, really, the post-production last night was like super long, and it was great. Like, I really enjoyed that. That was Joel. Joel's such an interesting guy.
Right. And Joel wanted to go another hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Joel, that's cool.
That guy never sleeps. So yeah.
And Joel, that's cool. But at the same time, like this, I wanted to be, Meet My Friends specifically. I kind of wanted to be a snapshot so people can just get like the most they can get from that person and and all that. And the problem is that Joel wanted to be on all night, and I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, it was fun. So I'm gonna do my beers.
Your beers, I'll do mine.
My first one here, I don't know. I kind of progressed up. Champagne Tortoise is a nice mild. A mild, if anybody knows about an English style mild, it's supposed to be light and refreshing and sessionable, but not too crazy with the flavors. And this lived that up. Actually, this is probably a big flavor for a mild. I liked it. It was great. We have the Tome Hazy Pale Ale. Fantastic. Fruit, juicy, all that. And this Middleton Project was the best one I liked. But I'm a sucker for double IPAs. if everybody remembers my story about IPAs, I hated IPAs until I started liking double IPAs, and then I went back to IPAs. I know,
Crazy.
so there we go.
All right. So for me, I'm going to say I have a very clear winner, but the other two were a notch below, but they're fairly equal. So I'm going to say this, which was the Brewdog Blueberry Pulp Patriot. It was good. It was unexpected because it's a milkshake IPA. It drank more like a hazy IPA, and it's 9.5%. Did not drink that heavy at all. That's the problem. Like you could drink multiple of these on a hot day and think you're drinking a 5% beer. So in that case, that's pretty interesting just because of how light it drinks. This was super duper tart, which I like. I prefer the tart over the sour versions of Gosa's. Again, the Brewdog and this one are pretty much neck and neck. So the peanut butter Jenkins was the winner just because he was super duper well balanced. Like, you know, you have some peanut butter beers where it's like the peanut butter just so fucking overwhelming. I like peanut butter, but I don't want to overwhelm the taste of the beer. And if it's a style of beer, I want to taste the style of beer underneath that peanut butter flavor. This has the peanut butter and the nose. The nose is like just all peanut butter. There's no booze, like because it's Imperial Stout. You expect the boozy notes in it. The boozy notes are all in the flavor. The peanut butter blends in well. I really enjoyed this beer. It's you know, I'm partial to stouts and Imperial Stouts, but this is a local one from Buffalo, New York. So like this is actually a line they make different Jenkins beers. So I'm gonna have to pick up some of their others now.
Do they make Leroy Jenkins?
I hope they do, because if they don't, they're missing out on a marketing opportunity. Because that was great. So yeah, cheers to that.
Well, excellent. As you see on the bottom scroll tomorrow, our next gig is the Taproom Travelers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you got to see any of their videos, but we still have at least 12 hours. At least check out that Central Waters one. These guys do fantastic, really, really nice processed videos on breweries, and it's a great time to be doing virtual brewery tours, right, Doug?
For sure, because if you can do a virtual brewery tour and you can show the brewery and how it functions, but you obviously can't do brewery tours, but seeing the background of how somebody decides, all right, here's how we're going to do our process. You know, for you and I, dorks like us that like to enjoy seeing that stuff, that's important. And I'm glad there are folks that are able to do that sort of thing and still bring it to all of us.
Yeah, they're characters too, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Next week we have Brothers and Booze, Kerry Jaworski, who's the regional sales representative at Third Space Brewing out of Milwaukee. He used to be called Lakefront Kerry, so he used to work for Lakefront Brewing too. So this guy knows beer in Southern Wisconsin, so we can jump into all that. He's a fun guy, so it's going to be great.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Because, like, you'd think you bring in guests that, like, because I'm on the East Coast, I don't know. And then that's actually exciting for me because I'm learning stuff out of that. And that's, you know, I enjoy that kind of shit because I'm a dork.
Man, aren't we all? And I don't know. We also have the thing that I don't want to think about. We're going to continue that. It's going to be interesting. And hopefully, I don't know if Kerry, this is only the thing that we don't want to talk about is only a Friday thing. So it's going to be interesting to see what Kerry thinks about that next week. I don't know if he's watching now, but if not, he's going to be shocked. So, Doug, we're going to wrap another fantastic, wonderful Friday time. I mean, it's amazing, Doug, where all this started and where we are now as far as like this kind of being a thing that you and we started together as friends and all that, but now it's almost like a therapy thing or almost a thing that keeps us going. Or I can speak for myself, especially in this pandemic.
For sure.
I don't know if I didn't have this Friday show. I mean, I don't know. I would probably be doing something else, but I don't know, man. Like I said, I couldn't spend my Fridays with a better person. And I couldn't spend my Fridays doing stuff, and it keeps me motivated. I wake up on Friday and I'm like, yes, I got shows. Great. I don't have to think about this pandemic bullshit. And I don't know, Doug's cool and he puts up with my bullshit, so it's great.
Man, the thing is like we're both peas in the same pod here. We both are like looking forward to doing this. We enjoy the shit out of it. You always find good guests, and I've been trying to get guests. I'm bad at it. You're much better at it, and Dad too is kind of the way we met. That whole thing, like I remember seeing him like, it's fucking Craig, great. I get to talk to him, and I was so jazzed to be able to talk to you. And then you were like, Doug, and you were like, it was so weird because I was like, I didn't expect you to be that enthusiastic because I'm just fucking me, and I'm like, who the fuck cares about Doug? And then, like,
I feel the same way, man. I totally feel the same way. People are real happy to see me. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, great. Let's talk. And you and I, and the funny thing was, the first time you and I met, we talked, and we were talking to the Facebook guy, and you were talking about the daddy, and I'm like, listen, you don't understand. This group thing is really smart. He's doing, and you're like, yeah, and I just don't know how to grow it. And like, it was just funny because we were talking to this other guy, but you and I were actually bullshitting with each other is really what we were doing. And
I'm pretty sure we're waiting in line for some booze too.
I think we were, but
so
regardless, look where we are now. And I'm going to tell you, I look forward to this every goddamn Friday.
Well, the whole thing was a foreshadowing. Like we didn't know, but it was literally a foreshadowing, a harbinger. And again, if you talk to Doug and I, we don't really believe in, I don't know, destiny or
like destiny, all that sort of shit. And like, yeah,
that kind of was though. Like, right, because it was literally a year or so after that I, I was like, I don't know. There's something that came in my head, and the first person I thought about to do this show was with you. And I don't know. Look at this. We're airing all this out now. And I don't know. It was just like, and you were just like, yes. Like the second I asked you, you were like, yes. And I was like, well, this guy's enthusiastic, so I should keep with this.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, it wasn't like I'm an expert in beer. I'm not. I know what I like.
No. But that's why you already know. That's why I wanted you. I didn't want another expert in beer. I didn't want not another because I'm not. But I didn't want like two people talking about beer. Like I wanted someone who doesn't know about beer, so then more people are approachable. It's about being approachable, Doug, and having people be able to. Because somebody, who was it? Somebody I recently added as a guest, or someone who's going to come on as a guest was like, "Oh, I'm not in your group." Oh no, it was Darren. Darren's like, "I'm not in your group because I'm not a beer expert." And I'm like, Darren, like you have to get in my group because like we're not about beer expert. That's the
that's the thing. Everybody's like, here's this stuff, or like, hey, what is this style? Does anybody? What do you prefer?
Yes.
Like, and I love seeing that stuff, and the amount of answers we get is like, just hey, try this, and just it's great, and everybody's super supportive, and you built a great group, dude, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, not only you're a part of it, you're a moderator now. And part of that is when I brought you on, I told you that we don't want any pretentiousness and any bullshit. So if people want to post about how they like Miller Lite, they don't. I think people are scared to because I think they're going to get jumped on. But it's not about jumping on.
No.
One of my favorite people that I deal with here in Wisconsin is Chris Drosner, the beer baron. And actually, let me put him here. He's going to be on Meet the Friends soon. We just haven't nailed down the time, and it might be next week, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be involved. But he just wrote a piece about how Miller Lite, and we're going to talk about this shit when he comes on, about how Miller Lite is one of his summer favorites. And I just don't want people to, especially in a group, be afraid to post whatever you drink. Yes, I'm not going to drink big beer. That's not my thing. If you buy it from me, I'll drink it, but that's not my thing. But I'm not looking down on you. And if anybody looks down on you or starts bullshitting you in the group, they will either be banned, muted, or all the above. Because again, beer, this is what we talked about last time. Beer is a thing that brings people together at this point, especially now. So if you're just having a beer, I'll have one with you, man.
Yeah. And So I'll give you, for instance, like when I go to my parents live in the middle of Pennsylvania, and that is like big beer central. Like there's not a lot of variants, and that's okay. That's what people there drink. And I don't shit on them for it. They're like, my one brother's like, I drink Milwaukee's Best because it's cheap and that's what I can afford. And I'm like, hey, if that's what you fucking like, great. Like seriously, I'm all cool with it. I'm not gonna dump on you. I might tease you a little bit because I'm an asshole, but like I'm not gonna be like, hey man, don't fucking drink that. That's shit.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think we all. So like, if I go and I say, listen, I'm drinking all day and I'm doing whatever, but I'm gonna drink Labatt's all day. And somebody go, well, that's big beer. Yeah, but I'm drinking low ABV, something that I enjoy that's crisp, and I'm doing it because I'm doing yard work all day. And it's not something that I'm not drinking a barrel aged stout when I'm out in the yard. You know what I mean? Like, I just think we both understand that everybody drinks what they like, and we want to support that. You know, again, you and I are not going to go out and buy InBev or whatever. We might like, there's certain things I like that might be a big beer entity that they're owned by a big beer, but they still make the beer the way they used to. So, yeah.
Yep. So, Doug, see you in about 12 hours.